This conference will now be recorded.
Hi all, welcome to the session. Hope you all are able to see my screen.
Yeah, visible.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Okay. So see here, we have discussed up to state machines. Okay, and now we are moving to the mappings. So coming to these mappings, it's I want you people to try this. Okay, there is something called map in Dynamics X. I want you people to try that and let me know if you are facing an issue so that I can explain. Okay, I want you people to try that, at least one of them. And now let me move on to the next one. That is methods. Okay.
Hi,
Yeah. Go
hi,
ahead.
good morning. Actually, one question related to what is the use of future management latest in D365? And one more thing, when we have sent any invoice document, how to protect the password? We have to
Hey,
set the
can you do
password.
one thing? 1 second. I think you got some requirement and you're asking. I don't want to deviate the class,
No,
so you can ask me
no, no, no,
later on.
no,
Okay.
no, no.
Because
That is
that is
not the
not related to this
requirement.
one.
Just okay,
Okay. You can call me on my mobile later on so that we can have a call and we can discuss. Okay. Or you can ping me on
yeah,
WhatsApp. So
when, yeah. When what is the time?
mm, at any point. Okay. Today I'm free at 11:30 or 12 o'clock. You can call me at 12 a.m. Sorry, 12 p.m. IST. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Kumar.
Now see here in this we know now what are the fields and everything, all these things. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's learn what are the methods. Okay, and then we can move on to the next topic. Okay. Let me open the address table. So see here, whenever we are working with these methods or the events, I would like to give some background on when to do what. Okay, when to do what, because there are multiple ways we can do this here. Okay, so I will call this as methods, events, and then event handlers. Okay, I want to discuss all the three. Okay, methods, events, and event handlers. Okay, first one is methods. First one is methods. So what is a method and when we need to write a method? See here, let's say you have created a new table, and then based on the need, let's say when you're creating a new record, some action should happen. When you're deleting a new record, some action should happen. When you're updating a record, some action should happen. When you're modifying a data of the field, some action should happen. Like this, whenever you're trying to update something or insert or whatever the action you're performing on the table, something should happen. Then what we will do is we will write something called methods. Okay, and there are variety of methods, and I can say there are hundreds of methods that are available in Dynamics 365, and we can use them for these purposes. There are different purposes. I'll show you a few of them. And second one, okay, let's say you have a standard table. You have a standard table in the sense already available in ERP, okay, which is nothing but our D365. So can you write a new method directly in it? Can you override the method directly in it? Up to AX 2012 or AX 7.0, by using a concept called overlaying, you can do that. Okay, because when you come to the standard objects, there are two things that we need to remember. Okay, one is called overlaying. Overlaying means modifying the object of one layer in another layer is called overlaying. Okay, modifying the object of one layer in another layer is called overlaying. Okay, and the second one is called extension. Okay, there are only two things that we can do, either overlaying or either go with the extension. Okay, now see here, this overlaying is I can say, instead of calling void, I will say not available from D365 8.0. Up to D365 7.0, they have given the option, because now as well, if I show you, if I go to the application explorer and then data model and then tables, if I take any one of the table and if I right click now, you will see there will be something called overlayer. This overlayer is enabled up to D365 7.0, but coming to this version, it is disabled here. Coming to this version, it is disabled from 8.2, so you can't use it. There is only one way, by using extension. Please remember that this is very, very important. So now overlaying is gone. So what we need to use? There is only one way that we can do, that is extensions. Okay, we need to work with the extensions if you want to work with the standard objects. Okay, so what we will do is, first of all, we will see how to work with the new tables, and then we will go on to the next concept where we are going to use the standard table, where we are going to work with the standard table. Please remember that. Okay, now let me do one thing. This is my address table, which is a simple table, and you can see 1 2 3 4 5 6, there are 6 fields. Okay, let's say by default, whenever a record is created, I want to have the country as India. Okay, I want to start with a simple thing. So if you want to do that, there are multiple ways here. From that, first way is, because some of the times people used to say, I will set the default value of the table field, but for table field you can't set the default value. You can do that in the form. Okay, in the form, when you are adding this country as the control, there you can set the default value as IND. Okay, that is one way, and that way will work only for that specific form. But let's say I want to do the same thing for entire forms. That means all the forms wherever this table is used. Then what I need to do? I need to go to the methods. If I click on the override, you can see there are a lot of methods. In that, there is a method called init value. What is the method name? The method name is init value. The method will get called for initialization. The method will get called for initialization of the table fields. So while doing the initialization, I am saying this dot country. This, the keyword this is used to indicate current. Okay, remember, this can be used only with instance variables. Okay, this can be used with instance variables. Okay, and if you use this dot country equal to, you can set it to India. Okay, even if you use single quotes as well, it will work. And I'm habituated with single quotes, because when we are doing the hard coding, when we use single quotes, it will not throw the best practice error. Okay, which is why we will use single quotes. Okay, which is why we will use single quotes. Okay, if you want to cancel the call to the super, you can do that. Yeah, you can simply remove this. If you simply comment this, nah, if your own method, you can do that. But one thing I want to ask, you know what the super does? The super does initialization. The super does initialization. So now what you are saying is, I don't want to initialize the fields. Without initializing the fields, how can you use them? Explicitly, you can't do that for table. If it is a class, even if you remove the super, there will be no problem. Whereas if it is a table, if you remove the super in the init value, the initialization is not done. If the initialization is not done, then they will not work. Got it? So initialization with extension. Okay. In the extension, you can't do that. Okay. In the extension, you can't do that because you will not see super itself. That will work in a different way. I will explain you when we go to the extensions. Okay. Now this dot country equal to India. This is a simple way with which we can set the default value across all the fields. Okay. This is the way with which we are going to set the default value across all the forms. If you want, you need to set it at the table level. And now let me do one thing. I want to rebuild and then I want to see whether it is working or not. Okay. Let me do that. Let's see whether it works or not. And then we will move on to the other things. Okay. Now actually the second thing is about, now once this is done, we need to debug this code. How to debug this code? To debug this code, there are different ways. Okay. Oh, good. I got one error. The model element has not been successfully compiled since it was changed. What is the name? ICA employee expense. This is the element that it is saying. It is not compiled, but actually it's compiled. Okay. What you can do is Dynamics 365, and then you can go to this one. What is this? Model management, build models, and then what you can do is you can select ICICI and then do a rebuild. Okay. So this is the only thing that we can do. Okay. Let's wait for a minute here. Let it build. So it's a compilation succeeded with 29 warnings. Check. Okay. Click on the close button. There are no errors. Right click and do a rebuild. Okay, build got completed successfully. Now let me go to the address table and then let me open the table browser here. Okay, I will say very satisfied. If you say very dissatisfied, you'll get a lot of mails and you need to reply why you are dissatisfied. Please remember. Okay, let them contact me if they need any details. Done. Okay, click on the new button. But before clicking on the new button, how to debug? So see here, there are multiple ways. From that, way one, click on the debug and then go to attach to process. And in case of your local machine, you will have a process called W3WP. Select this and click on the attach. Whereas if you are working on a Azure hosted machine, you will have a process called IIS Express. What is the process name? You will have a process called IIS Express, and you need to attach that IIS Express process. Okay, please remember that. And then if you select anywhere, you should see this between dark red. If it is in this color, it is not going to hit. Now you can see it became dark red. That means it will hit the breakpoint. Okay. Now what you can do is you can simply go to your table browser, click on the new button, and see. So what is the first method? It has hit the init value. Just a second, it will show you. Now you can see it has hit the init value method. Press F10 here. You can see the country. And here you can see there are multiple things. One is call stack. Now you can see here it's coming from the form run task, and then it is going to the table browser, sys table browser. From there it called init value. And now it is initializing the value with India and then run. Okay. Click on run. It will run, or you can select the continue button. Shortcut is F5, or you can simply click on the continue button. Just a second, I think it's not loaded fully. Okay, it's done. Press I. You're done. Now you can see the default value is set to India. This is how we are going to debug. Please remember, in case of Azure hosted machines, how to debug? You need to add a process called IIS Express. In case of local machine, you need to add a process called W3WP, World Wide Web. Okay. Now here we need to enter the city. Let me enter some Kottayam or whatever it is, India, district, and the state. I will say Kerala. Street, you can say Coconut House Road. Pin code, you can say some 30052. Done. So, okay, done. This is how we are going to work with the methods. Okay. Now we have seen one method. This is well and good. Now what I will do is, first of all, I will override all the methods and I will explain you later on what is the purpose of them. Okay. Now let me close this and then let me open the savings account table. Okay. Open the table in the designer mode, and in the methods, I will click on the override button. You can see I am going for in the alphabetical order, or okay, let's do in the alphabetical order. You can see AOS validate, application object validate. Okay, these are the final methods that will be called based on the operation. Okay, now actually you can see there are multiple methods. Okay, there are how many? There are multiple methods with AOS, and let me close these remaining things to avoid confusion. Okay, what are those? AOS validate delete. When you delete the record, this is the final method that will be called. From AOS validate methods, the calls will go directly into SQL. That means into the kernel. From the kernel, the calls will go into the SQL, and then either fetching or updating or the deleting of the data will be done. Okay, here you can see the super call. The super call in the AOS validate methods will call the AX kernel, and from there will be a direct interaction with the SQL, and then the operations are done. Okay, now you can see those are the AOS validate, and you have 4 different operations. AOS validate read, when you are opening the table browser or the form to read the data of the table, this AOS validate read method will get called. This will be called once to read the data. AOS validate insert, when you are inserting the data into the table, the AOS validate insert is the final method that will get called. AOS validate update, when you are updating the data, AOS validate update method will get called. AOS validate delete, when you are deleting the data, AOS validate delete is the final method. Okay, but please remember, people will try to write code in this, but try to avoid as much as you can. Okay, you need to write code in the other methods like delete. You will have the delete, and then you will have do delete. You need to work with these methods. You should not work with AOS validate methods directly unless and until you have a hard requirement. Hard requirement in the sense, at any cost, when you are inserting the data, you don't want to overwrite. Because let's say, for example, I have the delete method. In the delete method, you wrote the code, and I want to bypass the code that is written in the delete method. I will call do delete. If I call do delete, it will bypass the delete method, and then it will call AOS validate delete. Okay, so if you don't want to bypass and your code should be executed at any cost, then only you need to work with AOS validate methods. In all the other cases, you need to work with delete or do delete those methods. Okay, please remember. And then the next one would be get SQL statement to execute to get the SQL statement that is executing. Init value, we have seen that to initialize the default values or to initialize them. Okay, insert, when you are inserting the want to insert the data, you will call this insert method. Okay, similarly we have modified field. When you update the field, the modified field will get called modified field value. Okay, there's a difference between modified field and modified field value. I will let you know once we go to that methods. And then we have tooltips. Those are used very rarely when you have the requirement with a graph. Okay, update, and then to perform the validations, validate delete, and then we have validate field, and then we have validate field value, and then we have validate write, and then we have write. You can see there are lots and lots of methods. Okay, you can just simply check them, and most of the methods I think you're not going in the lifetime. Okay, so see here, these are the methods that we will use, I can say regularly or sometimes not. Okay, possibly. Okay, now you can see here in these methods I told you about the AOS, application object server validation methods. Application object server validation methods means when that will be the last call, AOS, it is going to call the AOS and then interact with the SQL and then fetch the data. It is going to call the AOS and then interact with the SQL, insert the data. Call the AOS, update the data. Call the AOS, delete the data. This is how it goes, which is why I told you that this will interact with the kernel. The super will interact with kernel. Okay, remember, this is one thing. And then the next thing is what code we need to write in which method. For example, let's say I have the delete method. When I am deleting the savings account, okay, already we have used something called delete actions. Okay, already we have used something called delete actions, but there are few more things which don't have the relations or the delete actions between those tables, and you want to delete them. Got it? Let's say you have few more tables and you don't have the relations or the delete actions between them, but you want to delete the information from those tables. Then what we will do? At that case, we are going to use this delete method. For example, in the card, I have the card account, but for that card account, I have not added any delete action. I have the card transactions. When I delete the savings account, card will not get deleted, card transactions will not get deleted. If I need to delete them, what I need to do? I need to write a piece of code here and then I need to delete it. Okay, I need to write a piece of code here and then I need to delete it. Please remember. Okay, to do that, we are going to use this delete methods. For example, I can say ICI card account and then I can take card account. Okay, and here put a semicolon. I am directly showing how to select the record. To select it, you can simply use select statement. Select card account where card account dot account number equal to, you can say this dot account num. Okay, this is how we do this. And then we need to use the transaction tracking system, TTS begin, and then TTS commit. And then if there is a delete action between card and card transactions, there is no need to delete card transactions here. And then you can say card account dot delete. Okay, done. Now what will happen? It will go and check for the record in card account and then it will delete the record in the card account. Even when there is no delete action between savings and card, it will get deleted here. This is how it works. This is how it works. Got it? Is it clear? This is how you need to write. And similarly, do delete. If you want to bypass, let's say I want to delete the card. Sorry, I want to delete the savings account, but this card account I don't want to delete in one case. Then what I need to do? Instead of calling this delete method for deletion, I will call do delete. What do delete will do? Do delete is going to bypass the delete method and then it will keep the card account as is and the record will be deleted only in the savings account. Okay, in that cases we will use this do delete. And similarly with the case of insert. Okay, let's say when you are creating a savings account, you want to get the card account created automatically. Then what you will do? You will go to the insert method. Insert. Where did I go? Right, yeah, this one. And then you are going to write here. You will say ICI card account and then card account. Okay, and then card account dot, you will have card
Scroll
number
down.
equal to, I am using, sorry, come again.
The code,
I will use
code is not visible, so
didn't hear you clearly.
yeah, అది అది scroll down చేయరా కిందకి code చూడలేకపోతున్నా.
Okay, one second, I will scroll down. Okay, and here you add the C here and then you need to add the plus. I am using this dot account number. Okay, I'm just concatenating the value with the account number here. Okay, and then the next step, card account dot account number equal to this dot account number and then card account dot card limit. You can set some handful amount, whatever you want, and then card account dot account type equal to ICI account types colon savings and then card account dot, you can use insert. Done. Okay, yeah. Yeah, now tell me, Girish, where do you want me to scroll?
See, when you are typing, right, I am unable to see. That's the reason. Scroll down and will see.
Oh,
Nothing
okay,
is.
all right. Okay. Now you can see here what I have done is I have added the data to the card account, and then I have used the insert method to insert in the card account. So if you want to do this, then you can use the insert method. Whereas you can write the similar code in do insert, but we should not do that. Why? Because this do insert is used to bypass the insert method. So let's say I want to create a savings account, but I don't want to add the card account. In that case, what I will do? I will call do insert. I will call do insert. Then what will happen? This insert will not get called and the card account will not get created. Got it? This is how we need to work with. We need to work with methods. And now let me do one more thing. Okay. I have the init value. Okay. I have the init value. In this init value, what I will do is I will set this dot minimum balance equal to 5,000. I am setting the minimum balance to be at a default value as the 5,000. And now let me go to the modified field. What is this modified field method? Let's say when you are adding a data to the field, what action should happen? Okay, if available balance is equal to minimum balance, then it is good. If available balance, they are adding more in number. Let's say if you want to update any other field, okay, by default, let's say if any field value is modified and you want to get the other field value to be modified, then we will use this modified field value. Okay, now let's say for example in the savings account, what are the fields that we have? Account number, minimum balance, available balance, and customer ID, date of account creation. I'm just thinking, give me a second. Okay, let's say they are giving the date of account creation date which is greater than today, then what we need to do? We need to throw the error saying that the date of account creation should be today only. Even if they give less than or greater than, you can throw the error. Okay, so how to do that? Now let me do one thing. Here you have the super of field ID, and when you are writing the code in the modified field, you can write in multiple ways. You can use if and else, and then you can write. Okay, you can use if and else and you can write. The second way is you can use switch and case. I will prefer switch and case because if you are using the multiple fields, switch and case is a better way. Okay, so what you can do is you can simply use the switch statement here, and then you can say underscore field ID, and then here you can write case. I will say field name in the bracket ICI savings account. What is the field name? The field name is date of account creation. Okay, and then you can put colon here. You can add whatever you want. Let's say if this dot, oh, let me do one thing. Just a second. System date get means it will get the today's date. Okay, so what I can do is I can say this dot date of account creation is greater than system date get. Then what do you want to do? You want to throw the error. Throw error. See here, throw error is a hard stop. It will not allow you to save the record. Throw error is a hard stop. If you want to use simply a check failed, that means if you want to throw the warning, we have something called check failed. Date of account creation should be less than or equal to today. Okay, less than or equal to today, because I don't want to allow creating the accounts of future dates. Or if you want to say only equal to, then what you need to do? if the date of account creation, you need to say not equal to system date get, should be today only. Okay, so there is one more thing. You might ask me, instead of writing this, you can set the default value to today. You can do that, but sometimes there will be a purpose where you need to allow creating the accounts, creating the accounts, creating the accounts of the past date or the future date. So you can add a flag and then you can do that. Okay, in that cases you can do this. Similarly, let's say if the user is trying to enter the value of minimum balance which is less than 5,000, I want to throw the error. Okay, case whatever you need to do is, let me simply copy this and then paste it over here, and what I need to do is I need to take minimum balance. Okay, if this dot minimum balance is less than 5,000, so you can do a check fail and you can say minimum balance should be greater than or equal to 5,000. Okay, this is a good thing. This is how you need to do. And now you will get it out. Already we have the modified field. Then what is the difference between modified field and modified field value? Frankly speaking, yeah, this modified field value I have never used it, but the purpose is in the modified field you can see the ID. In the modified field value you can see along with the field name we have the array index. Okay, what people used to think is the difference between both of them is here you have the field name, so here you have the field ID. If you want to use field number, you need to use this one. If you want to use field name, you need to use modified field value. That is not the difference. The difference is with the array index. If you remember, in the address table I have created two lines. Do you remember? Address line 1 and address line 2. Okay, that address line 1 and address line 2, by default if you are using the field num, it will take only line 1. What about line 2 then? Because you are using the EDT array. You are using the EDT array. When you are working with the EDT array, you need to work with modified field value method. When you are working with a simple field which has only one value possible and it's not an array, then you need to use modified field. Please remember, when you are working with the EDT array, then the modified field value will come into picture. Okay, but actually one thing that I want to show you is, I told you in modified field you are going to do this and you told okay it is fine, but actually if you see, these are the validations here. Is that right? What are these? These are the validations. So where will you write the validations? To write these validations you have a separate method. You need to think. Okay, I don't know whether you are listening or not. You can see there is a validate field method here. You need to write that here. The validations should be written in the validate field method. Okay, please listen carefully. Okay, please listen carefully, and you need to tell me, because these are the validations. I am writing them in the modified field. Now what's the difference between modified field and validated field if I'm going to do the same thing? Because you know one thing, whatever you do in the modified field you can do in the validated field. Whatever you do in the validated field you can do in the modified field. Same purpose, multiple methods. These are used for segregation. If you want to do some validations, do them in the validation field method. If you want to work with the business logic, and then if you want to update the data, okay, in the modified field, what code we are going to write is, let's say if the data is getting updated. Okay, now let's say if it is less than this one, you are throwing the check failed, but even if they are entering the less than 5,000, what you want to do is you want to set it to 5,000. Okay, what they have done, it is less than 5,000. You are saying check failed in the validate field, but you are thinking it by mistake and you want to update the value of the minimum balance equal to 5,000. Got it? Minimum balance equal to 5,000. If you want to do this, you can do that in modified field. Please remember, this is the difference between modified field and validate field. Okay, Modified field you are going to use for modifications. Whenever you are doing some modification, if you want to update, then you will use the modified field method. The validate field is used for validations. If you want to validate some data, then you will use validate field. Okay, then you will use validate field. Please remember that. Okay, and now the people used to ask, okay, if I write this dot minimum balance here, what is going to happen? You need to know the sequence, because when modified field will get called, when validate field will get called. Will this get called first or validate field? Okay, let's see. Let's write and see, because I want to show you what will happen. This dot minimum balance equal to, I'll say 5000.00 and then save. Okay, we will see that. Just a second, I think I got some question. Exactly. If price or total or quantity is modified, then total price would change. In that case, you can use modified field, and then you can update the value of total price. Okay, that's right. Now this is about modified field value, validate field value. So while deleting, if you want to do some validation, okay, while deleting, if you want to do some validation, and then if you want to throw the error, okay, let's say he's trying to delete the savings account. You want to check the card transactions and throw the error. You can do that in validate delete method. Okay, because if there are delete actions and restricted, then it will not allow. Whereas if they are not there, you can write the code as well. Next, validate write and write. These are the interesting methods. This validate write will not get called explicitly. You need to call it. Okay. Sorry, implicitly. Automatically, it will not get called. You need to call it explicitly. Okay. And the next one is write. So this write is the unique method. Whenever you are trying to insert or update the data, calling the write method is the best way. Okay. Calling the write method is the best way, because if you are calling the write method, if the record exists, it will update. If the record does not exist, it will insert. It will take care of that automatically based on the primary key. And if you are not defining the primary key, and if you are trying to update or insert using the write, that will go wrong. Okay, so please remember, when you are working with the write, you need to have the primary with which it will be able to identify the record. Okay, yeah. Now I think this is about the methods. Now let's add a breakpoints and let's see the calling sequence. Okay, I will add a breakpoints everywhere. I will show you one of the sequence, and remaining sequences I want you to try. Before that, let me do a rebuild. Okay, build got completed successfully. Let me add the breakpoints now everywhere. Come on. So when you are inserting from the form, I mean to say directly adding the values, and if you are directly saving it in the table browser, it will not call the do update. You need to, because it will directly save, so it will call the insert or update. It will not call do update. When you are inserting through the code, you have that flexibility to bypass the insert method. Please remember, or the update or delete. Now I am done. The next step would be click on the debug, click on attach to process, or you can open the table browser and then later on you can do that. Okay, that would be the best way. Okay. Let me open the table browser for savings account. Open table browser. So once this is open, I will add the breakpoints. That means I will attach the process. Okay, table got open. Now let me go back to the Visual Studio. Click on the debug, click on attach to process, and attach the process code W3WP. Okay, click on attach. By default, now there are no savings accounts. Okay, so let me create the one. And please remember, you need to wait until this becomes dark red. Now you can see this is dark red. Now what you need to do, go to the Internet Explorer and then click on the new button. Let's see what are the methods that will get held. It has hit the init value. Click on the continue button. Okay, now you can see by default minimum balance is 5,000. Let me add the account number as 1001 tab. It called the validate field because the first method that it will call is validate field, and then it will go to the validate field value, and then it will go to the modified field, and then it will go to the modified field value, and then it will come back. Now what I will do is I will select this, and I want to change this value to 4,000, and then I want to see whether it is doing the validation or not. Click on F10. Now one second. Okay, from the super of validate field it went to validate field value. From here it will come back to validate field again. I need to check date of account creation. No. Minimum balance, yes. Less than 5,000, yes. Throw the error. Okay, now if you click on the continue, it will show you the warning. And before that itself, it will also update the value to 5000. Okay, the super of modified field will call the modified field value. Now you can see it has updated to 5000. This is how it works. One second. Continue. You can see it has set to 5000 and it said minimum balance should be greater than 5000. This is how we will do the validations. Now let me do one thing. Let me add some 10,000 here, and I'm removing these breakpoints because the modified field will hit each and every time. Done. Now I can add the customer ID. I will take one customer. I have only one, 1001. Date of account creation. Let me change it to 20th. Oh, date of account creation should be today only. Okay. So you need to add a date in here. 18/11/2020. This is what you need to do. Done. Now click on the save button. It will call validate right. Okay. I am doing it from the table. Please remember, which is why it called it. Otherwise, when you are doing it from the code, you need to call it explicitly. When you are working with the code and you are trying to insert the data, you need to call validate right explicitly. It will not get automatically called. Okay. When you are doing it from the form or table, it will get automatically called. Please remember. And then it will go into insert method. In the insert, it will insert the record into the card account, and then it will go to AWS validate insert. 1 second. Let it load. Okay, it called AWS validate insert. Click on continue button. The record got inserted. Now, if you want to see in the card account whether the record is inserted or not, you can check that as well. Okay, you can go to the card account. Where is card account? This is the one. Click on open table browser. We will see it. Okay. Now, where is my card number? CS1001. This is the one it has created. Got it? This is how we are going to work with table methods. Yeah, now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries. If there are no queries, I will end session for everyone. Thanks all for the again tomorrow same time. Yeah, Kiran. Thank you all. Bye.